with Coach Meyer. She knows what type of players she has, and she's just trying to help them find their roles.
And taking a look at this group out of Lincoln Park, coming in at 5-4 on the season. Just picked up a win against Green Bay, a very good Green Bay team in their last matchup.
You can see DePaul's going to play open. They're going to make you play defense for 30 seconds, try to find you falling asleep.
And that corner shot, no good. Coming down with the rebound is Jaida Patrick. Patrick, who grad transfer after finishing her career at Columbia, played a couple of years in the ACC as well over at Duke. Day-Wilson with the ball in her hand over to Lachey Dwyer. And Dwyer taking it to the hoop. And off the mark, and coming down with the rebound is Jory Allen.
And I think that's where you're going to see DePaul have issues, is can they stay in front of the Miami guards?
And a push there inside the paint. Kyla Oldacre picks up the personal foul. One of the things that you will notice about this Miami team, a very athletic set of guards. They are run, but very defensive-minded base here for Katie Meyer. You're always trying to put the pressure on offenses. We'll see the success, if any, or how much DePaul will have tonight.
Well, just like I said, if you can't shoot, you can't play for DePaul. If you don't defend, you are not playing for Miami.
Jory Allen with the mid-range jumper and gets the first 2 points of the board, or on the board, rather.
When we talked off camera, I was wondering if Miami could make DePaul play in the mid-range area so that they wouldn't trade threes for twos.
Patrick, who had a dozen points in her last game, gets the first bucket for Miami. This DePaul group coming in, as you mentioned, some new faces. Second year in the program, and the kiss off the glass won't fall for Peoples. But both squads getting used to some newcomers on the squad. 8 in total for DePaul, 4 transfers, along with 4 freshmen as well. Pops in and out for Mackerling. And stolen away by Jasmyne Roberts. Roberts here on the break kicks it over. The three is drained by Jaida Patrick. Patrick now responsible for all 5 points for the Canes.
You know, it's interesting. I asked Coach Meyer, what was it that intrigued you about Jaida Patrick? And she said she scored 27 points against us last year, so just happy to have her on our team.
Patrick, who came over from Columbia, time down the Ivy League. They don't have fifth-year players, so found Miami as one of the teams on her list. That was intriguing. Patrick trying to go at it again, this time off the mark, rebound by Michelle Cedar.
Interesting, in the Ivy League, you're going to see a lot of players now who are transferring to these Power 5 schools.
When you have success like a player in Jaida Patrick, an all-Ivy League selection, second team a year ago, and trying to find a way to gel in a new space, in a new place here with the great head coach and Katie Meyer. The offensive board and the putback for Oldacre.
Again, being able to stay in front of the Miami players, and this is the third time that DePaul has run transition. And I talked with the assistants yesterday, and I asked them, what are you worried about, you know, with DePaul? And that was the first thing they said was defensive transition, because they get the ball up the floor so quickly. In practice yesterday, they played with a flat ball, so they couldn't dribble, so everything had to be off the pass, and you can see the result of that with them. They don't put the ball on the floor very often in transition.
Well, you got to give credit to Jory Allen for running the floor the way that she did and was rewarded. She got the hoop and the harm at the free throw line, trying to complete the three-point play.
So Spearman comes in for Oldacre, a little bit more mobile up and down the floor and laterally. So going to be interesting to see how she plays in the post on defense.
Also checking in, Bryn Maskowicz for DePaul. And as you mentioned, number 32 in white, Zaria Spearman for the Hurricanes. handling the rock. Lemyah Hylton. Hylton coming off the bench. Day-Wilson step back three. Won't go. Rebound by Caitlin Gilbert, pushing it up the court. Cedor working on Patrick. Over to Peoples. The look. And Bryn Maskowitz coming up with a rebound. And last touch by, they say, Miami. Looked like it went off a Canes player last.
That's the third offensive rebound for DePaul, and I know Coach Meyer's not happy with that.
As you mentioned, an area where the Canes felt like they would be able to take advantage, providing some size, but right now, 4 guards in a post. That one short from Gilbert. Roberts will crossover, pulls up, yes. We talk about the excellent tournament that she had last year. She is just carrying over to this season.
Yeah, I thought last year toward the end of the year when they made that run, she was much more aggressive, made a big impact, bigger than she had at the beginning of the year, and it's just carried over here into this season.
You think about, she started the final 21 games, and it was because of an injury to one of her former teammates that made Katie Meyer say, hey, look, I've got to pay more attention to Jasmyne Roberts and find a way to keep her in the lineup. She's in the corner on the opposite side. However, it's Hylton who's fouled on the take. And Caitlin Gilbert is whistled. Correction, Peoples whistled for the personal foul. 5 minutes to go in the opening quarter. Miami with a 4-point lead over DePaul. This season off to a scorching start, 7-0, first time since the 2015-16 season. I think you circle that huge win in the ACC SEC Challenge over Mississippi State, and this is how they've been so effective, Helen.
Yeah, just and those are great ranks in the country, but also in the ACC. They're #1. I think they've been overlooked. They feel disrespected. Didn't start getting any votes until they beat Mississippi State, but they've been putting in the work.
Going inside, the work, and off the mark is Spearman. Here come the Blue Devils back the other way. Blue Demons, excuse me.
You have to be on your toes defensively if you're playing against DePaul because they cut hard and they are in constant motion. You can't let people cut in front of your face.
Maskowitz puts up the dribble, tries to cut inside, and tipped last touch by the Canes with 4.7 seconds remaining on the shot clock.
See at the end of that shot clock, you didn't have Peoples in there. She's normally who they would go to if it gets down to that point where they don't have any scoring opportunities.
Peoples averaging 21 points a game, heaved up by Gilbert, and off the mark from 3 right now. DePaul 0 for 7 from 3-point range.
And they struggle when they don't hit shots because they can't open the floor for backdoor cuts.
Patrick already with 5 points, add 2 more right there with a nice take inside. The touch from Jaida Patrick already making a big impact here, 7 of the 11 points for Miami.
Let's see at some point when Coach makes an adjustment if they keep getting beat to the basket if they try to go zone.
Maskowitz thought about it, passed up the 3, gets in a little bit closer, the extra pass to Peoples, and Peoples had that one contested along the right side. Here's Day-Wilson, bounce pass, back over, good ball movement, open look, and drained by Lemyah Hylton. Hylton, who's making an impact early on, coming over from Arizona.
She's somebody that I think is sort of overlooked when you look at Miami. You talk about Roberts and you talk about Patrick, and I think that she is somebody that can really do a lot of damage for them.
A number of players having to fill different shoes, greater roles with the departure of, as you mentioned, Helen, 7 different players from last year's Elite 8 team, and that one is drained by Cedor.
And that happened, just ball movement, offensive rebound, and not getting out defensively on those three-point shooters. That's plenty of space. You and I can get that.
First triple of the game for the Blue Demons. Day-Wilson says, I want to try to answer back off the mark. Rebounded by her teammate Roberts.
The guards for Miami are great rebounders. You see the ball movement here for Miami. Just patience, spacing, wide open jumper there. And they can get that off defensive transition because no one's set.
Talk about the rebounding ability of the guards. We see a few more faces checking in now. Lemyah Williams, along with Lashrae Dwyer, back in the ball game. And Dwyer trying to give Macrolane fits. And Jory Allen. Ball movement, doesn't net a basket. Back the other way, Williams.
Just a great defensive sequence there by Miami, staying with their players, not getting cut on, boxing out, staying between their player and the basket. Really good sequence.
Here's Hylton launching it from long range. Caitlin Gilbert coming up with it. And Gilbert, a player who is familiar with the ACC, played 4 seasons at Notre Dame before transferring over from Missouri.
Yeah, she's somebody that I think could give them more offensively. She has the skills, just hasn't done a whole lot this year. I mean, she's playing a lot of minutes for a reason. She has the ability. She needs to be giving DePaul more.
On the inbound 6-point ball game in favor of the home team. That one deflected. Coming up with it, and here's Dwyer trying to take it baseline. And good contest there from Clark.
There's a lot of dribbling around with no purpose by Miami.
And that one picked away by Peoples, who created that turnover, the steal, and back the other end. Comes in a little bit closer, leaves it short. It's been a very balanced scoring attack for Miami through their first 7 games. We mentioned some of the new pieces. They are missing or without their 2 top scorers who departed at the end of last season. And so now this creates a great opportunity for others to step up. As we mentioned, Day-Wilson in the open, Jaida Patrick already making an impact here.
Yeah, well, we've had this discussion earlier today. With the way transfer portal's working, you have to, every year, try to assemble a group that's going to fit your philosophy on both ends of the floor. And for some teams this year, it's clicked early, and for some teams, it's taken a while to figure out their roles.
Clark well off the mark there on that 3-point attempt. 9.3 seconds remaining in the opening quarter here from Coral Gables.
Neither team has shot very well from three-point range, and you would assume that DePaul would be a team that would be hitting the threes, but they're not. Nice back door.
Great pass. Can they finish it off? And Lemyah Williams goes down hard on the foul. And Lemyah Williams was fouled by Caitlin Gilbert. Another look at it here.
Beautiful cut, beautiful pass. Ooh.
And Williams trying to shake it off. Gilbert showing some good sportsmanship there, making sure she's all right. And Williams at the line to shoot a couple.
Williams, a very personable young lady. Love watching her energy in practice yesterday.
Life of the party doing shoot-around as well. Well, Sunday afternoon, we had a women's basketball doubleheader here on the ACC Network. Duke hosts Florida Gulf Coast at noon Eastern, followed by number 18 Louisville, who won 4 straight, taking on Kentucky. Both are available on the ESPN app as well. Meanwhile, Louisville jumping 4 spots in the latest AP poll this week. Remaining seconds of the opening quarter. That one's stolen away. That shot won't count if it were to go. And how about doubling the lead here at the end of the...
Kids want to come back home to Chicago. He's the first one that they call.
Very attractive when you think about Caitlin Gilbert, who's out of Indiana, not too far away, along with Kate Clark as well. So in the nearby area, he's been able to draw those players back to the Midwest, something that actually appealed to Anaya Peoples, who's a couple of hours outside of Chicago and Danville.
Well, and what he's done a great job. The players that transferred maybe didn't have big roles at the schools where they were, but they carved out big minutes and big roles here with DePaul. Great defensive sequence there, again, by Miami.
Well, DePaul shot 3 of 18 from the floor in that opening quarter, but starting off strong here in the second quarter is Day-Wilson.
She has just a really quick that dribble and that shot off the bounce from three-point range, especially around the sides of the top of the key. You have to get out on her in transition.
Face guarding is Hylton. They try to get it inside to Allen. Allen trying to reverse. And that shot made more difficult because of Latasha Lattimore.
You haven't seen a whole lot more of that transition that we saw at the beginning of the first quarter, and I think it's because obviously they've hit some shots, so they've had an opportunity to get back on defense, but I think they've done a really good job of staying with their player, not getting cut in front of the face, not getting backdoors, and it really makes DePaul struggle with their offense, so you see at the end of the shot clock that it's something that's contested rather than an open shot.
Who did we feature in the open was Peoples. They've got to find a way to get her involved. We mentioned their leading scorer. She was over in that first quarter here. Another strong defensive stand at the last second, and Peoples can't get it to fall. Shaeyeann Day-Wilson thought about it. Over to Roberts. Baseline reverse, yes, ma'am.
Roberts, a kid that has the ability to get to the basket and with contact. Great handles there. Just doing a really good job of a little bit English there. But right away, again, very hard for DePaul players to stay in front of the ball handlers for Miami, and they're really struggling with that.
Kissing it high off the window. You think about a player who has stepped up and gotten her time to shine. Off the mark there. Can't finish off that three-point play. Quickly back the other way. DePaul, they maintain possession, offensive rebound. And the floater in the lane. Third chance. Still won't go. And Peoples trying to get in right position, right time. And it falls.
Yeah, just everything is contested, coming up short, but you see DePaul there first to the loose ball and those long rebounds, getting several opportunities at the basket. You see Peoples there taking the contact. That's, again, she made that, but still a contested shot.
Peoples getting their first points of the game. I mentioned the senior out of Danville, Illinois, eclipsed the 1,000 point scoring mark in her last game. Roberts this time trying to show off just the range of game. She took it to the hoop the last time, this time.
And I just said that they get the transition baskets and then they get one there. Prove me wrong. That's what DePaul's really good at that, and you've got to get back on defense. They worked on it in practice and they talked about it, but it's obviously easier said than done.
Cut the lead in half and a chance to do a little bit more. Jade Edwards now in the ball game. Lattimore. Tried to get in the face of Peoples, but Peoples using a move, and you're going to see who it's last touched by. And it's Miami basketball. When you look at a Katie Meyer team, one of the things, and you mentioned it earlier, Helen, is you see the physical and attacking style guard. Why does that work so well in her system?
But that's their identity. They're tough and gritty on both ends. So if you see on the defensive end, you'll see that nobody goes through that lane without getting touched somehow. And the same thing in terms of their aggression to the basket. You see here, they go hard off the bounce to the basket downhill.
Shaeyeann Day-Wilson, always dangerous in the backcourt. Peoples, nice pass. The extra one made to Edwards, who puts it in.
Oh, just a miscommunication there between Lattimore and Hylton there. Just not talking and switching or staying with the player. So forcing rotations, and DePaul able to get that score.
There's Hylton, and Hylton from downtown.
See here in the second quarter, a little bit more what I was talking about at the beginning of the broadcast, about a little more finesse, a little more fluidity. They're leading the league in three-point shooting, and not something that if you look at the eye test you think, but when you look at the numbers, they're a really good three-point shooting team. And a really good defensive team. Lattimore altered that last shot, had an opportunity to get that rebound off the extra. Right there, Lemyah Hylton. She's feeling it right now. You said she could be an X factor, Helen, and she's showing what she can do. Yeah, well, you're starting to get the three-point shot going. If you get Hylton and all the other Miami players starting to hit threes, you've got to call a timeout. Got to talk about changing that defense. Think about what Jasmyne Roberts has done before the NCAA tournament last year, and since that point, it's been impressive. She has taken advantage of her opportunities. Yeah, it was Destiny Harden's team last year, but I think that she's done a great job, not just with her physical skills on the court, but just in terms of her leadership ability. She is the head of this team. She's in charge, and she has a lot of different skills. They were practicing her in the post yesterday, so I wouldn't be surprised to see a little something with her in the post in the game today. And when asked about just where was that elevation within her game, she said, look, it was a regular season game against Virginia Tech, who had made it to eventually the Final Four, and she got that opportunity to come in during the regular season, and from that point on, Coach Myers saw a need for her to be on the court, and she said, I just gained more confidence. I just became more aggressive in the process. You see DePaul came out in a zone, so now we'll look to see what Miami does in terms of in the post, in the middle with Spearman. And you've got Stedman out there, who now is one of their better shooters on the team as well. Day-Wilson picks up her dribble, poked away by Allen. So good defense from the Blue Demons. Yeah, I think they forced that into Spearman. Needed to move the ball a little bit more. Could have gotten their post entry maybe from Stedman here on the left side. Just a little impatient. See here, trying to go from the top, and doing a really good job, Allen, there, of getting in front of her offensive player. Just need more patience. You've got a zone. You've got to move the ball around so you can get some one-on-one opportunities in the paint with Spearman. Well, Saturday, December 16th, we have a college basketball quadruple header that starts at noon Eastern, but these are our featured matchups. Virginia Tech hosting Vermont, Virginia hosting Northeastern. And so much more to come right here on the ACC network, and of course the app as well. When you think about just the success that Miami basketball has had coming off an unbelievable year, and a great move there by Jasmyne Roberts. Roberts adding to a point total now with 9. You see the difference in the more open shot they got when they moved the ball around and spread the defense out. Peoples, open look for 3, won't go. Spearman could come up with the rebound, and Allen is fouled when she tried to put it back up. Well, that's 8 offensive rebounds for DePaul.
area. And you see Doug Bruno right there coaching up.
He's coaching up, but his voice is it's from yelling at practice yesterday and in shoot-around today.
You know, I've covered Doug Bruno for a number of years, and that voice has been the same consistently, so maybe he's always been. We should ask Katie Meyer about her familiarity with Doug Bruno's voice growing up in the Wheaton, Illinois area. Great standout there, played basketball and also found her way into some of Doug Bruno's camps as well. Very familiar with these two as Peoples gets it going.
So 2 possessions where you've been impatient, you've created offense for DePaul where they don't have to go against your half-court defense.
Peoples just 2 of 11 from the floor with 5 points. Williams over in the corner. And well off the mark there from Stedman. Stedman, one of the new faces, and have made her way into this Miami system coming over from Pepperdine. And Patrick versus Peoples. And the look there, and it falls for Kate Clark.
So it's been, I believe, an 8-1 run since DePaul switched to that zone defense. Again, the 9th offensive rebound by DePaul.
That one stripped away, and again, the active hands from the visitors, and DePaul, the bounce pass over, not expecting it was Cedor. Here's Stedman back the other way. Jasmyne Roberts waits for her teammates to get in the half court. Just about 2 minutes to go in the first half here from Watsco Center.
The 1-4 high set to force the defense to decide who they're going to guard on the wing. So DePaul has been able to get 9 offensive rebounds, just quicker to the ball, more aggressive, just a little bit more want-to from DePaul, and it's given them opportunities to get second-chance points.
The way that Jory Allen has hit the boards here today, averaging 6 rebounds a game. And Allen already with 4, but a good rebounding effort overall. Pesky defense from Williams. Peoples trying to get a little bit closer in. Gilbert from the free throw line, got it.
Good screen there by Allen.
Caitlin Gilbert with the first 2 points of the game and an 8-0 run for the Blue Demons.
Miami just needs to be more patient against the zone. Plenty of time on the clock. Let it shift. You can't have the ball stick and then try to dribble. Got to have more crisp passes, change sides of the floor so that you'll have an opening in the middle and the lane.
Kickball, 20 seconds on the shot clock. And we've seen so far Hylton have a hot hand, 3 of 5 from the floor. Jasmyne Roberts, 4 of 6. Day-Wilson shooting 50%. She's looking to kick it out. Here's Hylton, and Hylton sees that one from three-point land rim in and out.
Good defense here by Miami, sticking with the ball handlers and not allowing them to get to the basket.
And turnover for the Blue Demons, an 11-point ball game. As DePaul has tightened the gap here some. Miami is led by as many as 19 in this first half. They want to try to widen whatever they can back out before going into the locker room. Hylton back-to-back misses from three-point range. Good heads-up play by Williams to get it. Last touch by Allen.
And you see here, just hustled and then gotten out of the way. You need to crash the boards here if you're Miami, if you miss that first shot.
Hurricanes shooting 44% from the floor, 43% from downtown. Final seconds of the first half. That one won't fall for Miami. And the score will remain as is, 36-25 in favor of Katie Meyer's crew here from Washington. Katie Meyer wants to see immediately is the ball go through the hoop the last just about 4 minutes of that first half. Miami didn't score a point. And Jaida Patrick off the mark, rebound by Gilbert.
You see Miami starting again with Oldacre in there. Didn't play her much that first half because there was so much movement offensively for DePaul.
She also picked up a couple of quick fouls as well. And now here in the second half.
That's a great cut.
And that's what you said. When you look at this DePaul offense, they're going to be slicing, cutting, backdooring all throughout that 30 seconds on a shot clock.
Yeah, when they struggled in that first half when the ball stuck, but you see here just constant movement and just Patrick late there. Also, you did not see any help side defense in the lane. So DePaul is just always moving. They're always cutting, and you cannot rest for a second if you're defending them because they'll make you pay.
Free throws knocked down by Peoples, who's had a tough night from the floor. Now half a dozen points make it 7 for the team's leading scorer.
She will have halves like that, but she always comes back stronger in the second half, so I expect that from her tonight.
Day-Wilson, the pull-up jumper, won't fall. Roberts trying to wrestle for that rebound with Allen. And the possession arrow goes in favor of the Blue Demons.
At least going to the ball hard. The guards for Miami had half their rebounds in that first half. And we'll do a better job here in the second half.
There's Peoples kicking it out. Ackerlane knocks it down.
When you let DePaul get downhill, you force players to come and help, and they shoot well enough that you can't really help. So we talked in the first half about DePaul staying in front of the Miami players. Now talk about Miami having to stay in front of the DePaul players.
Cutting the lead to 6 and then stretching it back out off the make from Oldacre.
There's the advantage you have for Miami against the zone for DePaul. If you're patient.
The take and the aggressiveness from Caitlin Gilbert and trading buckets back and forth are these two teams. Inside once more, posting up. And thinking about it. The Euro step, slide, step, and it was true for Lachey Dwyer.
She's a spark plug on defense for them, so I see why she's in the game now.
At 10 points in her last outing. Dwyer now with the first bucket of the game. And Peoples again just runs off the rim.
3 straight possessions where they're able to get point-blank shots just off cuts and penetrating.
Patrick was asking for it in the corner. Instead, swinging it around.
See, the ball is sticking for Miami, and obviously that worked with Patrick, but you've got to move the ball around, make the defense shift. You didn't see the players for DePaul move very much in that defensive stance there.
When DePaul's on offense, you see they make every defense work, having to be very active. The show and go, and Allen flips it up and in.
And that's where she has the advantage. You have an Oldacre come out there and play her. You have to drive to the basket.
And DePaul staying in this ball game, 42-34. Just over 3 minutes gone by, and you talk about the movement. You're not seeing a ton of movement from Miami, and the ball sticking there.
And you see players holding it. And they're only getting one shot, an opportunity. Again, somebody's got to crash the board in white on that end.
Peoples, the ball fake, the drive, and the foul.
And we talked about them looking for her at the beginning of the broadcast. She's much more aggressive here in the second half. You see Oldacre here coming out. And then Allen there just doing a good job of great footwork there, shooting over the defender. So Miami's going to have to decide now. You take Oldacre out and you put Lattimore in, who's a little bit more mobile. But with Miami post players, it's sort of either or. You're trying to find a combination. I need a defender in there, but what are they going to give us on offense, and then vice versa?
ACC PM with Mark Packer and Taylor Tenenbaum on weekdays from our Charlotte studio, and in this basement at 4 Eastern, they'll have everything that's happening around the conference. You can check it right here on the ACC network and around on the ESPN app. And right now, if you're just giving it an eye test as a traveling violation called on Peoples coming out of the locker room, it seems as if DePaul is more energized than this Miami bunch.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, she is hunting shots, hunting opportunities on offense and forcing Miami to play defense on her. I didn't think she did that very much in the first half. I thought she kind of settled a little bit and that they did not look for her enough.
And who's going to generate offense for the Canes? A number of options to go to, but not able to knock down that shot on that possession.
And now you're seeing DePaul get transition points off of that zone defense and forcing Katie Meyer to have to call a timeout.
Because the Blue Demons are inching closer.
Let them drive to the basket, and Miami has had problems with that in the half-court setting and in transition. I think that's, you know, they went from being down 19 to being down by 5, and that's a big part of it, just not getting in front of players and then not executing against that zone defense. And so we'll see what they do here. You see DePaul's switched to sort of a 1-3-1 here and a matchup zone as well. It's kind of a hybrid here. So do you have patience if you're Miami? And I think that was part of the problem, was they were just sticking or trying to drive initially. If you just change sides of the floor, those same drives will be there, but they'll be much more open, more easy.
On the inbound with 14 seconds to work with on the shot clock, and the turnover into the hands of Macker Lane. Back come the Blue Demons.
And not that DePaul wasn't confident against this team, but I think you've just helped that confidence here with your lack of defense. That should not happen there. And Anaya People, she's on a mission. I don't know what they said to her, in halftime, but she is aggressive and hunting shots.
She was 2 of 12 in that first half, was Peoples, and could barely find a shot, but now up to 10 points, and her team within a bucket. Another timeout taken, and we will take it here as well. We'll step aside quickly from the Watsco Center.
Yeah, she had 0 points in that first half, but she has been aggressive, hunting shots. She's gotten to the line 5 times. She's 4 for 5 from the free throw line and just going to the basket. And we said that they would be looking for her if they needed scores. You come out and you play her for the 3-point shot and a nice little floater there. Just done a really good job of being aggressive and providing the bulk of the offense for DePaul.
She will step out in defense here. Miami with the basketball out of the timeout. On the inbound is Day-Wilson. Julia Williams trying to find a little crease, does so. The kick back out. Patrick thought about it and puts it up with time winding down on the shot clock. But how about the offensive rebound by Spearman? And gives a second chance for Miami.
See, this is a 1-3-1, but it's sort of a hybrid depending on where Miami goes, and they're doing a really good job of making Miami think it's a matchup zone, and they're struggling with where to find opportunities. 1-3-1, you've got opportunities in those corners and on the wings, but the way that DePaul plays it, you don't really see that.
DePaul has a chance to come within one off the miss. Williams back the other way, and perhaps in transition, Miami can make something happen. Spearman in great position, but better defense from Allen. A couple of blue jerseys surround.
Well, that was a gang defense right there. She had 3 people around it. Look how hard Peoples is going to the basket.
The offensive board blocked from behind by Spearman.
You didn't see her moving that fast or with that much purpose in the first half. Nice block here by Spearman.
Lane for 3, won't go. And a couple of players go for the basketball, and they say it belongs to Miami. You see it was last touched by Allen going for it along with Spearman, and it looked like Spearman may have touched it last. Either way, Miami has it. Still searching for a bucket. 4 minutes plus without being able to put up points.
And yeah, I thought Spearman gave up just a mid-range shot right there, wide open.
And one of the question marks for Katie Meyer is, hey, where's this offense going to come from? Who's going to step up and want to be that leader in these moments, right? You mentioned, hey, Destiny Harden was here last year and did that and filled that role, but you lose her and many other players. Haley Cavender, who's going to be that one?
Well, one of the downsides of playing so many people is who is that person? Who's going to develop that characteristic where they know at the end. One of the questions I always ask coaches is, who's going to take the last shot? No, I didn't get a chance to ask Coach that, but who is that person for Miami? Because they're carving out their roles, but they're not as clear sometimes on offense, and they struggle against the zone, especially the zone that DePaul's playing. That's a nice cut there. Again, in front of your face. See how hard she's playing. You don't see the Miami players playing that hard. Give her some credit.
Time winding down on the shot clock. Got to put something up, and Lane does so, contesting a violation of the shot clock for DePaul in that possession.
Well, that's one of the first times where they've really finished their half-court defense to their advantage and not allowed a shot or an offensive rebound. You've got to solve this zone if you're Miami. You look in the corners, you look on the wings, and when they shift, you look right there at the elbow.
Thought about swinging instead. Williams picks up the ball, looking single digits. And got to get into something. Williams kicks it out. Open look opportunity. And Patrick can't knock it down. Gilbert going baseline. Challenged by Spearman. She was fouled. DePaul could get it within one.
That whole sequence, Spearman didn't have anybody on defense. She didn't know that Gilbert had cut behind her, and then the foul there when she let her drive to the basket. Good aggression there by Gilbert on offense. That's good for DePaul because we talked earlier about her having the skill and needing to do more for them on the offensive end of the floor.
Well, Caitlin Gilbert, who was a welcome addition to this team for Doug Bruno, and right now we've seen both Gilbert and Peoples making an impact and very familiar with each other from their childhood, as that one was a tough shot, rolling over essentially Jory Allen, and Oldacre with the basket.
Coach Meyer not happy all over the official. Thought she should have got a foul there.
Peoples can finish 4-on-5, and it's stolen away by Kate Clark and back the other way. As some good efforts on both sides. Peoples with the foul, and Hylton trying to get help from her teammates from the floor. So a collision there between Peoples, and Hylton ended up on the floor.
DePaul just keeps hanging around and hanging around.
Katie Meyer certainly wants to beat her buddy, Coach Bruno. 0-2 in this matchup at their respective institutions. For Katie Meyer, she's searching for that win against DePaul. They lost to them last season in Lincoln Park. And the ball flying around everywhere, still in the hands of the Hurricanes. A little hesitate. Dwyer is fouled.
She's really good at that. DePaul went back to their 2-3, and that's some tightrope work there by Hylton on the baseline to save it with 8 seconds to go. She's so quick with the basketball.
Well, Sunday afternoon, we have a women's basketball doubleheader here on the ACC network. Duke host Florida Gulf Coast at noon Eastern, followed by 18th-ranked Louisville hosting Kentucky. Both games are available on the ESPN app. Duke is coming off a hot shooting performance from three-point range against South Carolina, but coming up short against the Gamecocks this past Sunday.
Gamecocks are just rolling. Added some shooting, opens up that offense. You see Miami here putting some pressure on, try to speed up the game.
Movement. Gilbert flips up. Tough shot. Back the other way. Good work. Can Miami net points here? Day-Wilson. Step back. Jump.
They want to create some transition so they don't have to play against that half-court zone. Sometimes a bad shot or a hurried shot is just as good as a steal if you can get the rebound and turn it into offensive transition.
Offensive foul whistle against Jade Edwards.
Need better communication there between the two. You hand the ball off and then you got to stand still. Back to the matchup zone here for DePaul.
Looking for that last shot. Day-Wilson can't get it to fall. Offensive rebound. Another opportunity. Yes! Kiss it! The bank may not be open elsewhere, but it's open here at Watsco City. By as many as 19 points in this ball game. However, we saw great second chance opportunities. Offensive rebounds helped DePaul kind of stay in this one.
Yeah, and we saw them being more aggressive going to the basket. They're still only 2 for 18 from three-point range, so they've decided to be more aggressive and get downhill. And that's been a big reason why they were successful there in that third quarter.
But it was important the way Miami closed things out in that last quarter, because they put up the last 8 points and gave themselves a little bit more breathing room and maybe kind of found some rhythm on offense.
Well, added that full court pressure there, which sort of sped up DePaul a little bit offensively and gave them opportunities to come down and run offense without having to go against the matchup zone or 1-3-1 for DePaul.
Inside, great look from Oldacre to Roberts. 44-4 in white.
So they change here from a 1-2-2 to a 2-2-1, then just going Well, back to player defense, leaving them only 18 seconds here of the clock.
Peoples finds Clark, and Kate Clark knocks down the triple. So, yeah, they're driving to the basket, but they can also kick out.
You can't help if they are driving to the basket. You've got to keep your person in front of you.
They push it inside again to Roberts once more. A couple of paint points for Miss Jasmyne Roberts.
They can use her in a variety of different ways. She's 5'10", so she can work in the post.
Coming off a spectacular sophomore second half of the season, Jasmyne Roberts defensively, Canes have in store off the glass. And there's Sidor. You see the adjustments made by Katie Meyer's crew, being able to effectively work the ball through that 1-3-1 of DePaul. Offensive rebound, and again, Oldacre saying, I got your back.
Just doing a great job there, getting into the teeth of that defense for the floater, even though they missed it. Finally, an offensive rebound.
Oldacre with 5 boards, 2 boards, and 8 points.
How many times are you going to let Peoples drive to the basket?
And an open look, wide open for Hylton. She was hot in that first half. But going back to Oldacre and just the way that she's been able to do something a little different. Say, I'm gonna pass it up to your partner. I got you.
Yeah, we see here 2 times in a row they've been able to post up Roberts. They worked on that in practice. She's 5'10", and so they were picking on Kate Clark there a little bit. She got behind that zone and was able to post up.
Clark, again, launching it. Good position underneath by Mackerlane.
Well, just a tremendous job of just getting in position and holding it and boxing out your players.
So second personal foul for Shaeyeann Day-Wilson, team's first. And some substitutions.
Neskowitz coming in there, I think, to combat Oldacre. She's had her hand on a couple of offensive rebounds.
Peoples with an open look, goes after her own shot, gets the rebound. Sidor, top of the key, 3.
You get some easy shots, you see the ball go to the hoop, and then you get much more confident with your shots from the perimeter.
4th triple of the night knocked down for DePaul. Five-point advantage for Miami. Perfect record on the line for the Canes.
And you see DePaul going back to that spread offense there. Give them room to drive the basket.
And tough take there for Peoples.
She's been carving up that left side, going downhill, driving to the basket.
Shaeyeann Day-Wilson and kick ball off the DePaul player. Jasmyne Roberts leading the Canes in scoring with 13 points as a timeout is taken on the floor by Coach Bruno. Will step aside as well. 3-point ball game here. Miami holding tight to the lead. Next Saturday, we have a college basketball quadruple header that starts at noon Eastern, but these are our 2 featured matchups. Virginia Tech hosts Vermont and Blacksburg at 4 Eastern. Then Virginia squares off against Northeastern right here on the ACC network and the app. Coming out of that timeout by DePaul. Miami has the basketball in a 3-point lead, just over 6 minutes to go.
So they went player to player on the out of bounds, but then they go back to the matchup zone. And Oldacre is able to get behind the back line there, the defense.
Oldacre, they have found her to be all the more effective here in this second half to help keep the lead at bay for Miami. Keeping her dribble, and Jory Allen, the double pump, boy. Jory Allen, who started out this game strong for DePaul, now with 11 points.
Still trying to post up Roberts there.
Lemyah Williams. Won't see that one fall.
Yeah, DePaul lucky there. You need to go and triple team Oldacre at the free throw line there. Just miscommunication. Look, the weak side's not even in the middle. Roberts there all the way on the other side of the lane. You cannot do that against DePaul.
And overthrows Oldacre. And then Jory Allen with the steal and fouled. On her way to the basket by Williams.
Just an unforced error there, creating an offensive opportunity for DePaul. So DePaul, they weren't going to shy away from competing. They've been very aggressive going to the basket. That zone has been working for them. Miami's struggling with it.
And this is a joust of coaches who are very familiar with one another, good friends off the court, and understanding. Katie Meyer's like, hey, look, I want to beat my buddy. I want to pick up a win against Doug Bruno and his squad.
Well, DePaul has been very resilient here in the second half based on the way they played in that first half.
And when you think about, some of the opponents earlier in the season, Katie Meyer mentioned Jacksonville and Southern, along with Mississippi State, putting up good fights and strong fights in their matchups.
Well, and it takes focus, and it takes focus for 40 minutes. And I think Miami the last couple of days has struggled with that. They're in finals right now, so that could be part of the issue as well. But the effort part you can always control. In the first half, I didn't think they did that in terms of going after rebounds. And that's where they allowed DePaul to get back in the game. And then just simple communication miscues like that allowing them to score.
And just like that, a one-point ball game here with under 5 minutes to go from Watsco Center. Blue Demons trying to hand the Hurricanes their first loss of the season. Oldacre with the offensive rebound and the foul called underneath. Second team foul on the Blue Demons.
And people just sort of not really knowing that Oldacre's there behind her. It's too late after she gets her hands on the ball.
Oldacre, the 6'6" Kane, has the position, and the sophomore is fouled again.
Taking quite a bit of time to figure out what she's going to do. She's got to assess, and then she's got to move a little bit quicker. I thought she made a good move, but then she countered when she didn't need to there. She kept going to the basket. Still got to the free throw line, though.
The annual ACC Huddle Bowl preview special is Monday at 7 Eastern right here on the ACC Network and the ESPN app. They'll break down all 11 bowl games from ACC teams that are in and look at how the College Football Playoff Committee's decision impacts Florida State and the Orange Bowl game. Certainly still a lot of chatter and discussion regarding...
on both sides.
Yeah, Florida State on the outside looking in.
Yeah, but, they're going to have that same problem when they go to 12 because that number 13th team is going to think that they need to be in as well. It just, this year it was very evident that it was a struggle for some people to get behind those top four and leaving an undefeated Power 5 team out of the playoffs.
Good hustle there from Roberts. The step, the bucket, yes, for Day-Wilson. And the emphatic response afterward from both her and her teammates.
Well, I like the little hezzy up in the air and then fly into the basket here. Just a little stop and whoop, and then to the basket, take it to contact, and the score.
Well, a player that we featured at the start of this broadcast. Always dangerous off the bounce and continuing to be a consistent presence for this Miami squad. One of 4 players also out of Canada.
Let's see, where was that aggressiveness in the first half? Good job by Patrick. And it's just effort, just going after the basketball, wanting it more than the person next to you.
When she came in, Jaida Patrick, a player who Katie Meyer said, look, she is a rebounding guard. She can go coast to coast. She can play multiple positions.
Well, she's got the length and the athleticism, but she also has touch. And a great combination. And again, she scored 27 points against them. So we're going to have her on your side. And people look at her, oh, she played at Columbia, but she can play. See here, a little bit of pressure. I wanted DePaul just to get into their offense really easy.
And still a 2-possession ball game. Gilbert attacking, won't go. Jory Allen, board, yes.
That is his 15th offensive rebound for DePaul. And when you beat somebody off the dribble for Miami, that forces someone to come up and help, and then that leaves a person there for the offensive rebound.
Key players going to the floor. Miami hangs on to it. Day-Wilson splitting through. Wide open look from the top. Roberts can't get it to fall. Gilbert coming up with it.
Good possession there, just didn't finish the shot. Got to get out on them in transition.
Got it, bucket, Michelle Cedor. And DePaul grabbing the lead for the first time in this game since the 8:54 mark back in the first quarter.
And it's just when you get back in defensive transition, you have to talk and you have to know who you have. And when you don't do that and you don't talk, you leave a shooter out there and bang, 3 points, they have the lead, 63-62.
Call Jill.
It's your journey. Own every mile in the Hyundai Santa Fe with America's best warranty.
Right now, get 0% APR financing on the 2023 Hyundai Santa Fe. Visit your local Hyundai dealer today.
Back here, DePaul grabs the lead. They were 1 of 16 from long range in the first half, but their threes have come in timely spots here over the third and fourth quarters.
And because they're more open, because now they were able to penetrate, and the help comes, and they're wide open. In that case, in transition, you see Cedor, they're getting a wide open shot.
Grabbing that one. Here's Day-Wilson. Has the basketball.
DePaul able to do a really good job of helping in this zone defense.
And Lemyah Hylton sees that one roll around the baseline. Jade gives Miami the lead right back.
She was a spark in that first half with 9 points. Hadn't heard from her until then.
Allen going right at the body of Oldacre. Losing her footing, but fouled on the way down. Third foul picked up by Allen, but let's go back to her on the offensive end.
Yeah, just no help there. She's able to use her leverage and drive to the basket. I think Miami's going to have to work on that. in practice. You've got weak side players on the outside of the lane, just no one there to help.
So now in the bonus, and Miami gets the opportunity to shoot free throws the rest of the way. The final 2 minutes and 12 seconds. In regulation, a team that shoots 57% from the charity stripe throughout the season. And missing both of them is Oldacre, but coming in to snatch the rebound down with Jaida Patrick.
That's the second time. There's the tough and there's the gritty that Coach Meyer's looking for.
The edge that Miami needed right there was delivered from Jaida Patrick, leading by a 3. And Miami gets the basketball back. Katie Meyer telling her point guard, slow it down, easy, and take your time.
I want to try to isolate Oldacre there in the middle. If you can spread the zone out, change sides of the floor, and then you'll have a drive.
Day-Wilson passes it up, kicks it back out. Hylton over to Patrick. Yes! Patrick coming out with back-to-back big plays. First grabbing down the rebound, and then this time knocking it from downtown.
Well, Patrick has the last 7 points, if I'm correct, for Miami. Just getting on the glass here before, and then you see here hitting the three-point shot. Very versatile player, able to provide different things for Miami.
And one of the things that Katie Meyer said she loved about this player and Jaida Patrick is that she's a competitor. She comes in and day out, ready to work and is fired up. And boy, she is certainly little something extra under her teammates here in the closing minutes.
Well, we asked who would show up for Miami, and she certainly has here these last 3 possessions for them.
So let's look how things shake out. DePaul trailing by 6 points, 1 timeout remaining, no fouls to give. We mentioned Miami's in the bonus. And so how does DePaul work with the final minute and 16 seconds?
Well, I would look for some flare screens. They haven't run any really this game, but that's something they're very proficient at because you're down by 2 scores. So I would look for that, and if you're Miami, you got to make sure to get over those and communicate.
Full court inbound for DePaul. Remember, Miami does have a couple of fouls to give.
They're going to put this pressure on. They're not really trying to steal the ball, just want to slow down, give them a little less shot clock to work with. Got to make sure and not let them get to downhill where they're able to kick the ball out for 3s.
Post Jory Allen trying to work on Jasmyne Roberts, looking for something that's available. Who's open? Peoples is fouled by Patrick.
You see this lineup for Miami, no 6'4" post players because they want to defend one-on-one the players from DePaul.
You mentioned the sluggish start for Peoples in that first half and found a different kind of bounce in her step coming out of the locker room. 16 points, the Blue Demons leading scorer.
You see an offensive defensive substitution here, putting Oldacre back in to play offense, and if they have an opportunity with the shot clock, they'll put a guard in to play defense on the next possession.
Peoples 5 of 6 from the free throw line. Make it 6 of 7. 2-possession ball game. And a foul quickly by Mackerlane. So the game will be slowed down from this point forward with free throws upcoming. Coming in, not an area where they've excelled in terms of free throw percentage tonight. It's fallen off some, but here, a chance to get a couple of big ones. As Day-Wilson sees that one rattle down.
If you're Miami, you got to make sure in transition that you get on these three-point shooters and that you communicate. There's less than a minute left, so you can switch every screen if you're a small team, but you got to watch for the slips and the flare screens.
And Day-Wilson hits both. So again, offensive, defensive substitutions. Williams back onto the floor. Peoples has the ball up the right side, cuts through the middle. And Jasmyne Roberts commits the foul.
I think Coach Meyer wanted a double dribble.
That's the team's fourth foul. The next one will send DePaul into the bonus.
Well, that was great defense there. Not letting Peoples get to the basketball.
And Doug Bruno, what is he saying here to his group?
Well, what he's saying is we got to get a shot off quicker, but we've also got to do what we've been doing. We've got to get to the offensive boards. We need to give ourselves opportunities, and if we don't, then we've got to foul right away to see if we can extend this game.
Katie Meyer urging her players to be ready to rebound.
They went over in shooting practice and out of bounds play to make sure that they could get the ball in at a time like this. So we'll see if they set that screen on the baseline.
And Allen hits both. Quickly to the basketball as they try to trap Day-Wilson, getting into the hands of Roberts. Roberts almost had it poked away, and then the foul by McErlane.
There's an awful lot of time off the clock there to get a foul.
The idea where, do you do it immediately in that situation, or do you try to attempt and go for the steal like they just did?
You know what? I ask coaches that all the time, and they all have different answers. It depends on what the situation is. It depends on if the team's a really good free throw shooting team. It depends on time and score. In that case, the previous possession they fouled right away, so I'm not sure why they let so much time go off the clock before they fouled that time.
Jasmyne Roberts hits the front end. And Allen tracks down the second missed free throw. Back the other way. Triple down. Michelle Sedor.
See, in that case, normally in defense, you say you want to get to the lane and then fan out. But in a case like this, where they're really good three-point shooters, you want to get out on the shooter right away, or else something like that's going to happen.
Came into tonight a 42% three-point shooter. Earlier this season had 5 threes against MTSU. And Michelle Sedor brings the Blue Demons within a basket. No timeouts, however, to work with from this point forward for the visitors. Miami still has both of their timeouts.
We have to make sure you get the basketball in. And if you're DePaul, you're telling them who they need to foul.
A close one here from Watsco Center. Miami 7-0 for just the third time under Coach Meyer. And here a timeout is taken by the 19-year leader here. And she's going to talk it over a little bit more.
Well, that's where they went over in and shoot around practice today for that screen on the baseline, but Katie Meyer saw it wasn't developing the way she wanted to, so called another timeout there. They've got to make sure that they get the ball in, and they've got to make sure that they don't get it in the corners. So you need to start higher up above the three-point line so that you can have more room to work with your defense. And if they follow you and they get between you and the ball, you just post them up, hold them, and let them throw over the top. Or worst case scenario, call a timeout. At least that way you get the chance to set up your defense.
Yeah, you go back to the last meeting between these two. DePaul won it 98-83 last November, and they're leading the series. We've mentioned throughout this broadcast, hey, look, Miami
and Katie wants
to win, but Katie Meyer wants it even more.
She wants to win this game. They're great friends, but you know, when you're competing, you want to win. So it'll be interesting to see what she draws up here. Again, the key thing: make sure you get the ball in. Don't get the ball in the corner.
Because the timeout was taken, they will inbound it and advance the ball past half court and in front of their bench. Jasmyne Roberts to inbound it. Looking, gets it in to Shaeyeann Day-Wilson. And Cedor, rather, with the foul. And quickly, so.
That's one of the great things about the women's game is that you can advance the ball with less than a minute, so makes it a little bit easier for you. So you see DePaul put Clark in there, shooter for Gilbert. And everybody on the floor now for DePaul can shoot three-pointers.
Day-Wilson, who has been one of the more steady free throw shooters for this Miami team this season. Can make it a two-possession game here on a make. And the miss.
5 of them, 5 of us. Make sure we do not leave them open for a three.
And Peoples loses the basketball, rushed and hurried. And Peoples whistled for her 5th personal foul. And that's going to do it for Lemyah Peoples. 18-point effort, but here a costly turnover in the waning seconds of this one.
He was just trying to create something there off the dribble like she's done the whole half.
And Roberts has that one roll around. Getting both 75-70. Miami looking to hold on. And they're going to be able to do so at home. Move it to 8-0 to start this campaign as Katie Meyer finally notches her first win over her friend.